I'm here to inform you that there are millions of individuals who should not enroll in Medicare at 65, and they will not face penalties for doing so. Perhaps you are one of these individuals. The entire Medicare process is often dubbed the Medicare maze, and like any maze, you need to make decisions as you reach the first fork in the road. To the left, you have the option of not taking Medicare yet. Going straight means you should consider taking Medicare, but you don't have to without serious consequences. To the right, it's time to take Medicare to avoid significant financial issues. Let's go over the main factors in this decision, and then I'll tell you which path to take: left, straight, or right. There are two ways to delay signing up for Medicare past 65 and avoid penalties. At the end, I'll outline the penalties, but first, let's show you how to avoid them. The first way is if you are actively working and covered by a group health insurance plan through your job. You do not need to take Medicare at 65, and you will not be penalized if you stay on your work plan and delay signing up for Medicare parts. The second way is if your spouse is actively working and you are covered by their group health insurance plan. In this case, you also do not need to take Medicare at 65. Once you retire or lose your company coverage, you have a special election period to pick up Medicare Parts A and B, a supplement, and a drug plan with no penalty, or you can get an Advantage plan at this time without penalties if that's the route you prefer. However, just because you don't have to do something doesn't mean you shouldn't consider it. I'll cover this soon in the section about who should take the straightforward path. Now, here's where things get a little tricky. It's no secret that as we age, we become more expensive and risky from an insurance perspective. If your employer can move Medicare-eligible employees off the company plan and onto Medicare, the company's insurance rates will decrease for all other employees, often significantly. Thus, the company is incentivized to move employees off the company plan to save money. Companies are not allowed to incentivize employees to move to Medicare, offer a raise to make up for your Medicare premiums, or force you to take Medicare. This is not allowed, yet it happens frequently, except for companies with fewer than 20 employees. If your company has fewer than 20 employees, we have a problem when discussing Medicare. There are large groups, 20 or more employees, and small groups, fewer than 20 employees. For large groups, the company's group health insurance plan is the primary payer, meaning it pays first on medical bills. For small groups, Medicare becomes the primary payer, and the company plan becomes secondary. If you work for a company with fewer than 20 employees and delay Medicare past 65, the insurance company offering your employee health coverage can refuse to pay anything until Medicare pays first, leaving you essentially without coverage and responsible for the full bill. The insurance company offering your employer plan, if it has fewer than 20 employees, has the discretion to choose whether or not they will pay for things. Some insurance companies decide to pay the bill even if you are not on Medicare, while others refuse. This is why it's essential to work with an agent who knows your area and different insurance companies to avoid these issues. You could save money if the employer insurance company honors payments, but you could be at a significant risk if you rely on the company plan where they refuse to pay because you don't have Medicare. If you are employed with a company of fewer than 20 employees, your employer can encourage, incentivize, or force you off the group plan to Medicare at 65. Now, let's discuss when you should take the left path of not taking Medicare. If you are covered by a company plan of 20 or more employees, either because you work there or your spouse works there, and that plan offers better coverage at a lower cost than Medicare, do not take Medicare. You will save money by not taking Medicare. However, you may hear from a friend, agent, or HR team that you should take Medicare Part A because it's free, unless you have a health savings account, HSA. HSAs and Medicare do not work well together, as taking any part of Medicare will stop all HSA contributions. If your company plan is solid and they contribute to your HSA, do not take Medicare yet. Now, let's discuss the straightforward path of considering Medicare but not needing to take it. Most of our viewers have not subscribed to the channel. If this video has helped you overcome the fear of postponing Medicare past 65, please hit the subscribe button. It helps more than you know. Here are 6 scenarios where you should consider Medicare but don't have to take it. 1. If you or your spouse are working and covered by their plan, but the insurance plan isn't great, high costs, poor network, and high out-of-pocket costs, you might find better coverage at a lower cost on Medicare. 2. If you are the working one and your spouse is younger and not Medicare eligible yet, you may want to stay on your company plan and delay Medicare until your spouse becomes eligible. 3. If you do not have an HSA to worry about, take Medicare Part A since it's free, but avoid Part B to prevent paying for both Medicare and your company premiums. 4. If you work for a company with fewer than 20 employees, decide whether your employer's insurance company will pay bills if you're not on Medicare. If uncertain, move to Medicare. 5. If you have federal or VA benefits, you don't need Medicare, but it's recommended for coverage outside VA facilities. 6. If living outside the country, consider whether you'll return. If you might return, you may want to get Medicare Part B to avoid penalties later. Now, let's talk about when you need to take Medicare. You don't have to do anything, but not doing so can have significant financial implications. 1. If you don't have health insurance at 65, take Medicare to avoid future penalties. 2. If on COBRA at 65, take Medicare to avoid penalties. 3. If on a retiree health plan that doesn't require Medicare at eligibility, but might later, take Medicare to avoid penalties. 4. If on an individual or family ACA plan, move to Medicare at 65 to avoid losing subsidies. Now, let's go over the penalties. The Part B penalty is 10% of the Part B premium for each year you delay without a valid excuse, and it lasts for life. The Part D penalty is 1% of the national base Part D premium for each month you delay without creditable coverage, also lasting for life. Ensure your company plan includes creditable drug coverage to avoid the Part D penalty. For those who made it this far, I appreciate you. If you need help with your Medicare decisions, work with a knowledgeable agent. My email is in the video description, and I have partners licensed in all 50 states. Here is the next video you should watch. Thank you, and I'll see you there.